Hello, and welcome back to the ministry. And today we're talking about eagles. Many are called, but few are chosen. Eagles. Many are called, few are chosen. Now, how do I want to go into this? Let's just start with what an eagle is. Eagles, they are very powerful, strong birds. They know for their stance and authority in the community of birds in which they're in. They usually represent authority in government and legal systems. But even they had to start somewhere. They had their own journey that they had to go through before they become eagles of valor that they are known for. They are born and are well protected in deep nests. Pause, because I just got something for that. Sometimes the Lord puts us in seasons of holding patterns, sequences, scenarios where we feel like we're in a deep hole. We feel like I can't get out of this place. Why can't I get out of this place? Why am I going through this? Why is that making all the noise? Why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? What in the world is going on? Why is it that I can't seem to dig my way out of this place? And God's like, you're an eagle. I just have you in the nest because I'm protecting you from the things that you don't know nor understand in this season. It's like when a person goes through a dark season deep down in a pit. It's like when a butterfly goes through their cocoon experience, and butterflies, they literally go into a cocoon as the caterpillar. The caterpillar literally liquefies itself and has to reform in the shape of the butterfly, then fight its way out of the cocoon. A lot of us Christians have a tendency to get caught up in the fighting part. I got a war. I gotta fight. God gave me this military spiritual training. I gotta fight. And God's like, could you chill out for a minute? Because in this season, I got you sitting in a deep pit where I need you to be. I know exactly where you are, and I know who needs help, and I know they're not going to come help you now, because right now, I am protecting you. But at some point, you need to get ready to fly. You need to prepare for it. There are people that are willing to love you and nurture you, much like your mother has done. But at some point, you got to get pushed out the nest. For the eagle's parent, the father will push it out the nest. At a specific point, it will be physically pushed out of its nest. Meaning, for us, that an uncomfortable situation will occur in order to push you out of a scenario in which you've been too comfortable sitting in. If you don't get uncomfortable, you'll try to stay where you are. You'll see this happen with friends or family members. Sometimes, I'm going to put it to you this way, because sometimes we don't even look at the people that are accusatorily coming at us or projecting their feelings upon us. They think they're doing something good for us because they are expressing their feelings in a way in which they feel is right to express it from what they've learned on how to express feelings, period. But they aren't doing it in a way that you can be heard. For instance, my father can't speak to me the way that my mother did, because he doesn't know how to use the gentleness that she used in order to work through the process, nor does he understand mentally how to process certain thoughts. There could be reasons for that, but um, a parent will teach you, but sometimes if they don't know how to talk to you, it feels like either to them what they're saying is going in one ear and out the other, or because they don't understand you, what they're saying is going in one ear and out the other. And you will be pushed away in certain things and anything, and it feels like you are sinking and hovering over certain situations that just need to be dealt with. A teacher can't give you the answers, nor can your best friend get you the information during a trial. A eagle's parent will kick them out so that they may be able to fly. But if they are not grasping the ability to fly, the eagle father will swoop down low enough to catch the child and bring the child back up. But as soon as the baby is put back in, the mother's going to kick him right back out. Our society, and a minister said this, our society has raised very weak people, very entitled, it's true, people that like things comfortable, instant, right now, need my gratification, and God's like, you're going to wait for this, you're going to fast for this, you're going to pray for this, you're going to sit with me for this, and then when I feel you're ready, I'm going to kick you out. I didn't leave you. I just feel that the amount of work that I've already previously given you, you're going to have to work that. It's like when I was watching Cinderella the other week, that when Whitney Houston's character walked up to Brandy and she said, I've given you everything that you need. You have to do this part on your own. There are things, rooms, realms, and situations that you're not going to get the help that you think that you need in order to walk into those situations and scenarios. You want it, you desire it, but sometimes the Lord's going to kick you into that scenario, and the character He's already built in you, prepared for you, and given you, it's got to sustain. He's got to see. And that's when you walk through seasons of testing in your season when you haven't gotten there, where you can mess up, where you can cry, you can have your fits, but you learn. And each time you go through the process and go through the cycle, you learn, and you start to begin to recognize the process and discern that you're in a cycle of testing. And you're gaining understanding about yourself. You're gaining understanding. And then when He kicks you out, you can't complain. You fly. You don't see baby birds sitting up there saying, man, I wish I could fly. I wish I could fly like mom and dad. They just are waiting on mom and dad to bring them some food. Think about children. If you got children, you know. They ain't thinking about, man, I wish I was an adult like my mom and dad. Now, they do have their moments. And you dress them up like little adults, and they see you doing what you do. But they ain't sitting up there saying, man, I wish I could pay those bills. Man, I wish I could take care of this house. Yeah, they want to sit with you and watch you cook and all that kind of stuff, and help you around the house and all that kind of stuff where they can. But they don't want that true, full responsibility of what happens with certain parents, where they kick their kids out of the house at 18. But see, the way God's plan and desire, it was never to kick you out. That's something that the world does. They kick people out at 17, 18. Go figure it out yourself. God gives you what's necessary. For women, the desire is actually for you to stay in the home and or in the vicinity of the house until you marry. if marriage is what you're called to do. If you have a calling on your life, yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're called to marriage. But he usually does not have a woman have a calling and she's not married. Now, what will happen is they will have a calling, but they have to grow in that calling to get to the place that their spouse is, and they may go years without a spouse as they are developing their calling, and then the spouse will come along. But sometimes that's because they were operating out of order behind closed doors. And I don't mean that they weren't being Christian women, they weren't doing all of this. Sometimes it's the fact that they didn't know that certain actions or responsibilities you can't do. Because you can't operate as the worldly church girl and still think you're going to get blessed. You can't continue to operate in iniquity and use it as an excuse not to straighten your act up. God wants all of your attention. He wants your faith. He wants you to walk. He wants to fast with you. He wants you to come to him and get clarity. And when you've grown, then he will give you that spouse if you're seeking it. I've been walking with God for 9 years. I've been single 10. Okay? There are some people that are Christian women that they slip several times. And it's okay if you slip. Doesn't make me better than you because you slipped and I didn't. It just means that you went through a testing moment. You didn't pass that test in that moment, and God reset you and you had to start again. Some people keep having to go through the same test, and they don't realize until they come to the understanding, oh, maybe God was trying to test me with that. Maybe I should stop doing that. And then when they go back and look, they're like, oh, God was testing me and I kept failing the test. I need to give that over to God. And God's like, yes, that's what I was waiting for. Now you can have that. He will teach you. Because in some seasons, yeah, he will allow the woman to have their own home. He will allow the woman to have their own independence. But he's also grooming those that are desiring for marriage how to do so in a relationship. Because if you are the woman and the man in your house, you are not going to be able to receive, perceive, and allow the man to be a man in your household. Why? Certain traumas and triggers that your parents taught you, and you switched into survival mode, and you learned how to switch into survival mode as a child, which thereby made you become a hustler, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. But God will teach you to do, and he's been doing this with me, and I believe that's why it has taken me so long to get to a season of marriage, because I've been like, I don't do that by myself though. And God's like, I'm trying to break that. That's what I'm trying to break, because you keep trying to want to do everything by yourself. Have you not noticed you haven't been able to do it all by yourself? Have you not noticed how many times you got hurt, injured, or what have you, trying to do it all by yourself? Come on, ladies. I can do bad all by myself, and look how bad you done did. Why? Because you still got that old mindset that says, I gotta prove. And as eagles, if you got parents that push you out of the nest, but see, catch this. Your parents may not push you out of the nest unless you end up in circumstances that push you out of the nest. And for me, I walked through certain seasons where I wasn't walking with God in fullness, but I knew of God, and I knew how to pray, and I learned how to pray better in my season when I started actually following God. But I had my kicked out of the nest season. No longer had the house that I was living in, and I was not with my parents anymore. But I had to learn in those seasons, and also was living under rules with people that weren't gonna baby me like my parents did. And even when I explained myself, they're like, why are you explaining yourself? Unless it was somebody that was very close to my family and was like, okay, we understand that you're explaining yourself, but you need to do this, that, and the other for yourself. But you're growing, and you're in that kicked out of your nest season, and you're trying to understand, Joseph, why everybody don't like you. And you're going through tests and trials, and you're wondering why God, and you're calling on God, but you're not giving yourself to God. I had to come to the understanding that I was only calling on God when I felt that I needed his help, and then I would leave him alone. And then the Lord finally sat me down one season and didn't allow me to do nothing until I finally came to God with a real authentic heart and allowed the Lord to circumcise me. And that's when then I started following God. That was 9 years ago. Teaching you how to be eagle, and you are kicked out of the nest. You learn, you go through certain seasons. I went through several seasons of switching from home to home to home to home to home to home, and sometimes I wasn't even in a house. And what is that? That's a season. God allowed you to go through a season. You learned the lesson you needed to learn in that period of time, and then he switched you to your next place. He kicks you out of that location and then moves you to your next. And you can almost gauge it by the amount of time in which you were in each location. Oh, that was that season. Oh, that was that season. Oh, that was that season. You can literally go through a timeline. Even when I wasn't following the Lord to the degree that I am now. Another being kicked out of the nest moment. And this is an important part, as an eagle, sometimes what we will do, if we don't recognize our eagleness about ourselves, and sometimes we will recognize that we are an eagle, but because we're like, oh, I'm the encourager, oh, I'm that person, God will be saying, yes, you are the encourager. Yes, you are the eagle. Yes, you have the voice, and people are encouraging you. And then you're like, let me go pull back the other people. I was watching a video, and you've probably seen it replay on YouTube and Instagram and all of this, of Lisa Nichols, and she was talking about she went through one of the hardest seasons of her life when she came to the understanding that she had to let the people go that were around her, go out and do what it was that she needed to do, get herself together, then come back and pull those people up. Because a lot of times what we might do, we are the eagle and we're trying to swoop down to where the chickens are and say, come on, chicken, I see potential in you, chicken. You got the wings. All you need to do is lose a little bit more weight. All you need to do is grow some more feathers. All you need to do is allow your wings to grow. And you'll be able to fly up here like me. And it's like, God's sitting there like, that's a chicken though. He ain't gonna grow no feathers and no wings as big as yours. And if you try to carry him, he's going to weigh you down. You need to let that person go. But we do, because we love the people that we grew up around. We love the people that we were around. And it's not to say that they won't change over time, but sometimes they need you to lead by example before they change. I had learned a great lesson about men. Sometimes certain men, especially the way that they were raised, they like to see evidence of a result before they get involved with what it is that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes in those seasons when you aren't making progress, you're like, oh, I gotta prove that I can get a result. And God's like, there you go again. Did I tell you? Did I tell you? You gotta stop trying to prove yourself. There's nothing that you need. You don't need to prove it to God, and you don't need to prove it to nobody else. Yes, with the Lord, He will put you through seasons of testing. But God is not sitting up there trying to make you prove it to Him. He's not like, I'm not giving you that blessing because you didn't. Some blessings he gonna give to you regardless of whether you prove yourself or not, because that blessing was on target for you to get anyway. It's going to be loving, it's going to be personal, and it's going to be something that you feel like you don't deserve because you didn't prove it. Some people aren't going to want to change, and that's the hard part. Some people are false around you. They act in a certain way, but they aren't for you, and they're not going to want to change. And you're going to be the one trying to lift them up because you see all the potential in the world. I have a friend like this, and if the Lord doesn't deal with her, I can't pull her up. She's going to weight me down. Because there's some people, perfect example, I was watching a movie several months ago. Anybody who's an old movie buff know the movie Sparkle. It's on YouTube. Sparkle was the woman that had the voice. She had the voice, but she grew up always trying to bring everybody else with her. Come on, sissy. Come on, sister. Come on, this one. Come on, that one. Come on, friend. We can do this. She's the encourager. Come on, we can all do this. And everything else broke down, but there was that one sister that she loved her sister so much that even when her sister started to fall apart and she watching her sister fall apart, she's still like, come on, I'ma still help you. Come on, I'ma still help you. When her sister would come and ask her for money, she's like, come on, I'ma still help you. Until her sister took the money that she gave her, got high and died. And they were all sitting there at her funeral, and she couldn't do nothing about that. Some people are not going to change. You can pray for them. You pray that they come into the realization of what the Lord is trying to show them, but they're not going to change. The only thing, you're not the one that's going to change them. God's the one that's got to circumcise that heart. And it hurts because you want them to come along with you. You're seeing all of the great things that the Lord is doing, but they can't come with you where you're going. As much as you love them, maybe later they will. Some of us are trying to prove something just so that we can see the people around us tell us, I'm proud of you. And God's constantly telling you, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Sometimes he'll send a mentor. He'll say, the Lord is proud of you. He's very proud that you walked through this season. But God's saying, I'm proud of you. Just because you don't hear an audible voice don't mean he's not proud. But then you get around those people that you were used to, and you would hear them say, they proud. And in that season, the Lord will literally put a spirit of division between you two, and they will have a provoking spirit and a projecting spirit on them unlike no other. And you're trying to figure out, why are these people rejecting me so hard? Because God said, I need you this season. This is our season. This is our season. They're not going to accept you. Some are never going to accept you. And you're going to have to be okay with that. And you're going to have to lovingly release them. And some, they may accept you once you get where you're going. But some are going to try to stop you from getting where you're going because they see the potential on you. And when they start to see how you grow, they actually will become more triggered to come after you. Shoot, sometimes they be kicking you out the nest, not because they really want to kick you out the nest. They kicking you out of the nest because they hoping you fall to your death. Hello. Eagles will also do a season where they have to prune, and that's what I'm saying. They got to prune and pull up and pluck out those feathers that are no longer useful because they got too much. I had a vision the other day, and it's a perfect example. Sometimes we got a lot of things on us. We trying to carry a bunch of stuff, and the people around us, they be walking around us, and you're like, can you help me carry this? And God's like not allowing them to. More so, they throwing dirt on the things that you're trying to carry, making it heavier for you to be able to carry the things that you're trying to carry. And God's like, I need you to pluck that feather. Pluck those feathers. And you're like, but I don't want to pluck the feathers. And God's like, you're going to need to pluck those feathers because they're making you too heavy. But God, sometimes those feathers are your auntie, your mama, your uncle, your daddy, your best friend, your cousin. Sometimes it's those people that are around you that are your most genuine connections. And they're the Hamans they're waiting to stab you in the back. An old OJ song, Backstabbers, they're waiting. Because if you ever get to that level, they know that you're going to leave, so they'd rather kill you first than to see you walk away from them. Or they try to kill you because they want your spot. They want your girl, they want your guy. It's like, if I can move them out, if I can slander their name, if I can assassinate their character enough, they won't ever make it there. Ask me how I know. Some of those were some hard realizations. You're going to have to learn about the narcissistic people. And it's going to hurt. But if you don't learn the lesson quick, fast, and in a hurry, what's going to happen is that narcissistic person that is only there to see if they can get off of you, they're going to slowly try and kill you. Snuff out your spirit. Snuff out what's going on around you. And some of them, they really are trying to just snuff you out. I mean, really try to kill you. So you have to realize who belongs where in certain seasons, and when the Lord starts to give you warning signs, you got to let this person go, because in this season, there was a minister I was listening to a couple of days ago that I had to make the realization, in this season the Lord was saying, I don't want you under this particular person. I need you to release them. And I felt it a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't understand it. And there were certain signs, and I sat down yesterday and I thought about it, and I said, the Lord's telling me I gotta let this person go, because it's something about what they're teaching in this season. It is not for me in this season. So I had to release them, let them go, and maybe they'll come back in another season that I may be able to listen and hear what they have to say. But right now, what they are teaching is not what I need. I gotta release them. And sometimes if you've had a mentor for years, that right now, me and the coach that I have are not on a term that we once were. In previous seasons, we had been real tight and real connected. I'm in everything that she's doing. Anything she did, I'm doing, and I'm in relation to it. And God's kind of got, no, in this season, I actually don't have you involved with her like that. What you're going to do is you're going to take what she's given you, and you're going to apply it while I show you how I want you to use it in this season. But you don't need her in this season. And sometimes you have to realize that in this season, she's not necessary. She'll speak into you at certain points when I allow her to, and she will. But in this season, not right now. I want your attention. I'm going to show you that you can apply the exact same thing, but with my wisdom and my guidance. And God has been showing me 95% of the stuff that I've done. He's shown me that I've partially already created it in previous seasons. It's that preparatory putting it together, putting all the puzzle pieces where they need to be. I don't need no more knowledge. A young woman did a video about a year and a half ago where she was talking about some of us are overfilling ourselves with knowledge, and God's saying you got all the knowledge. You don't need any more knowledge. use and apply what you already have. And when you do, that's what this season has been about. He has put you in a holding place and a holding pattern where he is kind of just taking that time to show you don't need that because you already got that. Remember in the book, was it first or second King? What's it called? I'm not sure. It's the book where Elisha tells the widow woman to take the oil and pour. Sometimes the Lord is giving you all the oil with all the knowledge and stuff that you've maintained in the seasons prior. I just need you to pour it out. I just need you to put the pieces together. I just need you to work with what you got. And I'm going to show you how what you already got works. And you don't need anything else. That's all you need. And with that, there is a breaking and a breakdown where God will bring certain things into your life that you need and that will give you the ability to soar with the other eagles and be able to encourage, be courageous, be bold as an eagle, so that you have done all of the pruning. You took everything out that was unnecessary, all the people out that was unnecessary, and as an eagle you are being able to be fierce in fleeced and pruned, because you gotta fly. This is your season that you are preparing to take off, and he's just plucking those things out that aren't going to serve where he's taking you. And it don't feel good because you're like, I'm seeing what they're doing and I want to be out there. And God's like, hold up. You never feeling like God's kind of like, you're like standing next to God and God's like holding you back. It's like, hold up. And you're like, but they not yet. But they wait, God, you just don't. Hold on. And it's like right when you feel like you get that gung-ho feeling, you ready to run, and God's like, wait. And it's like God's saying, hold on, wait. There's still some information you don't know before you take off running. I need you to gain this information in this season. They have the ability to run. A young woman released a word called plan, rest, run. A lot of us plan and we want to run and we don't want to rest, because we plan and we're like, yes, that idea is put together. Let's run. Let's go for it. And God's like, rest. You're like, but I don't want to rest. I want to run into that. It's just like I was saying in the other video the other day. I used to want to, when I started running, I wanted to take off running, and God's like, your feet don't work like that. A child can't get up as an infant and start running. They don't do that. They have to gain their muscle momentum, their muscle tension. They have to learn how to crawl. Then they learn how to walk before they run. And then once they run, you can barely stop them around the house. I want to fly like an eagle. To see, flying like an eagle. Like a spirit, let the spirit carry you. I want to fly like an eagle till I am free. The word speaks, for he who